The promo campaign for Spider-Man 4 is really ramping up. New footage has been released, Tom Holland gave a huge interview, and of course we are going to break all of that down for you in the next couple of minutes. Plus, we will get into the Punisher premiere, and naturally, the Disney upfront. The presentation where Downey Jr., Tom Hiddleston, and Paul Bettany showed up to unveil the future of Marvel. Friends, do not forget to hit that like button and let us know what you thought of the Punisher special in the comments. But we will kick things off with the upfront, Disney's traditional event for advertisers. Robert Downey Jr. himself suddenly crashed the event to introduce the series about Vision. Now this probably does not mean the series is tied to Doomsday, or that they are betting big on it. It is more likely that things are so bad at Disney that they decided to fork over a bunch of cash for Robert to show the advertisers that he is the face of the cinematic universe again. And that is associated with more successful times. Anyway, Downey showed a full trailer, which of course was not posted online. There is only one still and a description from viewers. In the clip, Paul Bettany, in his human form, is reviewing Vision's memories in his head, as if a film is helping him re-experience the emotions of Ultron, who by the way is also in human form and played once again by James Spader, and who the clip hints will likely be the villain at the same time. Also appearing in the shot is Rory Mollica, who will play a grown-up Tommy, the son of Vision and Scarlet Witch. And according to Paul Bettany, a huge part of the scenes will take place inside Vision's head. Honestly, it just sounds like Marvel decided to save money on visual effects. And to avoid rendering Vision and Ultron, they will set part of the series events inside the head of Vision, who, as Bettany explained, being an android, was constantly creating and copying artificial intelligence in his mind. And it is them that White Vision will be dealing with. Bettany confirmed that among the artificial intelligences in his head is Ultron. But since he is a psychopath, Vision created a special firewall for him in his mind. However, according to the actor, only Ultron, among all the artificial intelligences, is smart enough to help White Vision. Basically, it is all leading up to Ultron breaking free, but unfortunately, it will be within a cinematic universe that is already withered and has lost its magic. Nevertheless, technically speaking, this is a continuation of the WandaVision series, which, despite its ending, is one of the best in the universe's history. And even from the trailer, you can tell they are going to replicate that vibe of craziness and blurring lines of reality. Besides Ultron inside Vision's head, we will also see Edith, Friday, and basically all the artificial intelligences that have appeared in the cinematic universe. If you forget what Marvel has been churning out in recent years, you have to admit it sounds interesting. And as Downey Jr. announced, the series will arrive on Disney Plus on October 14th. We are really looking forward to the Scarlet Witch's comeback, and hope that Elizabeth Olsen did indeed shoot her scenes for the series. And for Doomsday too, because we have been waiting for Mom to be back on screen for too long. In other news from the presentation, Robert Downey Jr. stated that the studio's main asset is the fans, for whom they are making the upcoming projects. And for some reason, Tom Hiddleston also told him, "I love you 3000, which everyone on the internet, of course, took as a clue that Loki will be killed by Doctor Doom in the next movie. A scene like that appears in the leaked Doomsday script, so we will live and see. For now, let us move on to Spider-Man. Marvel released a short teaser there, dedicated to the effects. Specifically, to the fact that most of the effects in the film are practical and computer graphics were used sparingly. This is evident in the beautiful and cozy shot of Spidey in a beanie getting beat up by someone in snowy weather. But the shot sparked discussions online not because of its style, but because of when the events of New Day will chronologically take place. Snow means winter, and No Way Home ended right in winter. But the leaked script showed that New Day will begin 9 months later, meaning in the summer or fall with no snow. And then a 4-year time jump awaits us. Almost certainly, this specific scene from the trailer with the snow is a moment from a montage of flashbacks showing how Peter lived during those 4 years. But the point is that no matter how you slice it, considering all the jumps, it chronologically turns out that New Day will unfold closer to the post-credits scene of Thunderbolts. That scene in turn takes place 14 months after the main events of Thunderbolts. And to save you the trouble of calculating the tangled Marvel timeline, let us get to the bottom line. Everything really points to the main events of Spider-Man 4 being very close to Doomsday in the timeline. This is an important point, because if anyone forgot, Doomsday was originally supposed to be released before New Day in May of 26. Then the Russo brothers moved Avengers, but they left Holland's Spidey, whose script was already finished by then, right where it was. And the more footage and information we get, the more it seems that New Day is connected to Doomsday in terms of the timeline. For example, in Avengers, which came out before Spider-Man, only at the end does someone remember that Spidey is missing. Then comes the post-credits scene and it explains what he was up to. There are even theories that the fourth Spidey movie still takes place after Doomsday, as was originally planned. Of course, you should not expect any big reveals, but skipping the post-credits scene is strictly forbidden. It could become one of the coolest in history. Many considered the special about the Punisher, which was released the other day, to be a prologue to Spidey. Technically, that is what happened, but not in a literal sense, but a figurative one, because the Punisher special just became a filler that explains how Frank Castle went from a crazy maniac at the end of the second season on Netflix to an almost classic hero in Spider-Man 4. In short, he did not want to and missed his family, but by a twist of fate, he saved a little girl who looked like his daughter and realized he could still do something useful. That is the second 20 minutes and the outcome of the short special. As for the first 20 minutes, it is just a recap of Frank Castle's past for those who have not watched the Netflix series. After that, Castle finishes off the surviving thugs in the neighborhood, puts on the classic suit that will be in Spider-Man 4, and goes off to be a hero. There is no Spidey, no other references, and this is a huge problem for Marvel. The world, which should be full of superheroes, is empty. On top of that, Peter Parker could not care less that Kingpin is catching and torturing superheroes by the dozen. Well, not that he does not care, of course, but we learn about this between the lines in one of the film's dialogues. There are too few connections between projects, and projects like the Punisher special, which are needed to establish connections, end up being isolated solo outings too. It is a vicious circle. The shot with the soapy face, of course, became a meme, but the graphics and direction in the Punisher are actually good. Better than in Daredevil, where the cameraman fought with the camera more than the characters did. There are no cheap cuts, it looks dynamic and beautiful. But most importantly, it reminds us that Jon Bernthal still has excellent potential that Marvel has not even come close to unlocking. Here is the proof. The spin-off gathered more views right from the start than Daredevil. And it is no wonder Jon Bernthal said after the premiere that he wants to see a solo film about the character. If the fourth Spidey takes off, we can totally see that happening. For now, let us talk about the new Doomsday art that surfaced in Chile. On it, you can see the new looks for the characters in the film. Thor is a carbon copy of himself from the Infinity War era. Anthony Mackie is in yet another new suit and is still officially Captain America. Same for Shuri, who despite all the rumors about Damson Idris, will definitely remain the main Black Panther, at least in Doomsday. The Fantastic Four have new jackets, and for the old-timers, the good news is that Kelsey Grammer will be shown as Beast. And let us hope Marvel does not support the trend where modern movies look worse than movies from the 2000s. Things are unexpectedly loud over at DC too, where Matt Reeves has started the promo campaign for The Batman 2. As a warm-up, the director confirmed the participation of Scarlett Johansson and Sebastian Stan in the project. But the landing party of Marvel Legends does not end there, because Reeves also pulled Brian Tyree Henry, who played Phastos in Eternals, over to DC. He also published shots with snow around the Batmobile, which many of course took as a hint at the appearance of Mr. Freeze. Some even claim he will be played by Sebastian Koch, another actor Reeves announced without an attached role. In any case, the cast is shaping up to be as star-studded as possible, and the director is serious about shutting down the haters. The same can be said about the creators of Green Lantern, who were bullied so much for the lack of green in the trailers that they had to take them down from all platforms and restart the promo campaign. They did this with a new batch of stills and interviews from the actors. In them, we were told that chronologically, part of the series events will take place in 2016 and part in 26. The main villain will indeed be Sinestro, and big changes to the canon are expected. John Stewart, unlike in the canon, will not be a chosen ring bearer, but an intern. He will be chosen by the Green Lantern Corps in case of Hal Jordan's death, which is unique, because in the comics, the ring kind of chooses its bearer, not the other way around. According to the showrunner, there is a point to all of this. But so far, the crisis management is not working very well. Even James Gunn is getting spammed with negativity about the series on Twitter. So we will see if the new DC can surprise us. Gunn himself is focused on Superman 2, and a real Justice League is assembling there. Besides Adria Arjona, who will play an alien version of Wonder Woman, it is reported that Jason Momoa was also spotted on set in Atlanta. In addition to that, Eddie Gathegi, Michaela Hoover, and in short, all the actors from the first part have announced their preparation for the film. And of course, Millie Alcock was seen on set, though she could have just dropped by for additional shooting for her own movie. Speaking of which, its forecasts are improving. Analysts at Quorum rated the interest in Supergirl on various platforms slightly higher than Mortal Kombat 2, 53 versus 48. Usually these numbers correlate with the final box office numbers, and you could say that in the United States of America, Millie Alcock's film is projected to gross around 60 million on its opening weekend. But that is for now, and the promo campaign is still ahead, so Warner Brothers has every chance to push that number to 100, which would put Supergirl on par with the Fantastic Four. Can Gunn do it? And do you believe in Supergirl? Write in the comments, and we will go wait for the Marvel trailers that will definitely be shown before the premiere of Mandalorian and Grogu next week. The breakdowns will be out instantly, so do not forget to turn on notifications, and until next time, friends.